Nah, I ain't say that. Because you know that's not going to happen.
Maybe it can.
Everybody can when you
under the bridge, but what you feel about this matchup? Unbiasedly, what you feel about this matchup? You know these dudes very
Shakur
well.
had talked about this before it was actually official. And I'm like, Core, you know this fight, right? Core like, nah, bro, I know, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like, we all excited about the fight, bro. Like, we all know what's at stake. Like, we've been knowing Teofimo since we was 12 or 13 years old and amateurs, bro. Like, we all been winning nationals together. Now we're pro having to fight each other. So Teo know who he fighting.
Things took a sharp turn when Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo Lopez went back and forth, and this time there was no joking involved. The exchange was tense, personal, and made it clear that real animosity was brewing between the two.
It's all love, right, Keyshawn? It's all love, right? It's all love, right, Keyshawn? It's all leave, right? All right, that's it.
It's just a young kid trying to get clout. You know, hasn't made anything, hasn't made no noise, could say what he wants to say. However, hasn't done the recognition, hasn't won a world title. So who is Keyshawn Davis? These guys want clout. Do you guys not understand this? The moment they all get into the moment, right? The momentum. They feel the IQ. They feel the punches. They say, oh, this is real life. I don't want to get knocked out in front.
Keyshawn didn't mince words at all. He issued a clear warning to Teofimo, saying Shakur Stevenson isn't just there to outpoint him. He believes Shakur will stop him outright if Teofimo gets callous.
Slow.
Okay.
And then I see as Shakur wins the first round, as Shakur wins the second round, slowly, I think Teo is eventually going to start picking it up and start imposing his will.
Right.
And then, you know, it's just going to go from there. That's how I think it's going to go.
That's a fair assessment.
That's a fair one.
Especially for that to be his brother.
I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be closer than people think.
You could hear the certainty in his voice, not the kind of confidence fans throw around online, but the kind that comes from fighters who've put in real rounds at elite gyms and understand what true levels look like. Exchanges like that only pour more gasoline on a matchup that's already on the verge of exploding.
He's a guy who went out there and he done the things that everybody asked him to do. He beat the Lomachenko, he beat the Josh Taylor, and he ain't really get the credit for it. So when you don't get the credit for it, it feel like your mental kind of go down with some guys. And I think with him, he kind of didn't go about it the right way. He ain't go about it in a way to where it's like, keep waiting your moment, keep pushing, your time is gonna come. He felt like his time came and nobody respected it. So I did see the drift in his mental, but I think that's a weakness in his game, to be honest. Come fight night, we coming in there to make sure we come out victorious. So Teo is a hell of a fighter, I understand that, but I don't think none of these dudes is on my level when I'm at my best. So he got a lot to deal with come January 30th.
Once you tune out the chaos of the press conference, the mental chess match underneath becomes far more compelling than the shouting ever was. Those exchanges weren't just trash talk, they were tests. Teofimo Lopez wasn't trying to steal the spotlight in the moment. He was trying to get inside Shakur Stevenson's head and throw off his rhythm. That's the real strategy at work here.
I think that Teo just painted the outline by being as disrespectful as he can at the press conference, because he wants to try to piss this kid off so the kid come fight with him. You understand me? Because with me, he had exactly what he wanted. Because as soon as I go in there, I'm coming straight to his head. You understand where I come from? So, but I think that's what he's trying to get. Yeah, you feel me? But I think that's what he's trying to get Shakur to do. Because why would you say that to a person? What does that have to do with boxing? You feel me? He knows that Shakur has great feet, and he's not gonna be able to catch Shakur if he lets Shakur take his time to do what he does. So he got to try to make Shakur come in and try to kill him, which is what he's doing.
Shakur is at his most dangerous when he's composed and emotionally neutral, processing everything in real time. He doesn't fight on impulse. He fights on information. He studies posture, foot placement, breathing, subtle shifts, and then adjusts on the fly like a live algorithm, never needing momentum or adrenaline to take control. Teofimo, on the other hand, thrives on explosiveness and creativity. His brilliance often comes in sharp bursts, but those moments usually depend on a clear structure. When things get messy, he tends to search for a framework to reset and recenter himself. That's why the disrespect wasn't random. It was intentional. It was aimed at disrupting the balance Shakur relies on.
I don't feel bad about what he did at the press conference. I understand it now. When I saw it, he knows that he is right now. He ain't got much chance than outside picking a shot with Shakur because you don't beat Shakur like that. But if he can make Shakur get reckless and talk reckless to him, he's talking reckless to him to force him to hopefully force him to be reckless. You understand me? So what I would have did, like I said, I would have been reckless at the press conference, so I ain't got to be reckless in the ring. You understand me? I really ain't got that recklessness out the way. You feel me? Just so you know, I know where to be reckless at. Wherever you be reckless at is where I'm going to be reckless at. You understand me? So, and we got that out the way. So when the fight comes, I can get back to my fight game. You understand me? But he's just trying to do things to draw Shakur to him, to make Shakur be reckless, because if Shakur fights reckless, that gives him his best chance to win. And that's smart on Teo's.
This wasn't trash talk driven by ego. It was a calculated attempt to drag Shakur out of his detached, surgical mindset and force him into a reactive state. High-level psychological warfare, no doubt. But here's the reality. Shakur doesn't need to win verbal exchanges on a stage. His only job is to remain himself. If he lets emotion creep in, Teofimo's explosiveness and raw athleticism suddenly become dangerous factors. But if Shakur stays patient and composed, the provocation loses its power, and the chaos Teofimo feeds on can start to backfire. This fight isn't about toughness or swagger. It's about mental control under pressure. One fighter is trying to pull the battle into emotion. The other is determined to keep it rooted in calculation.
Wait, how do you fight a good boxer or somebody that makes you not only think, but make you possibly come for them at certain points in the fight?
Honestly, it's a game of patience. I think that you just gotta have patience, and sometimes things don't open up in the first 3 rounds or the first 4 rounds, but them things that may open up in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th round. So I think majority of the game is come down to just having patience and being mentally strong enough to withstand the patience game, because good boxers is going to be both patient, and the one that's the most patient is the one who's going to be the most successful.
When structure breaks down and the ring starts to feel unpredictable, the fighter who can create without panicking usually takes control. And just when the Stevenson-Lopez debate seemed like it couldn't get any more lead, Timothy Bradley Jr. stepped in and elevated the discussion into true high-level boxing philosophy. That's where it really gets interesting. Listening to Bradley, you can tell this isn't hype or hot takes. This is someone who values efficiency to his core and hates wasted movement. The way he explains it, Shakur Stevenson isn't simply moving with the rhythm of a fight. He is the rhythm. Like gravity inside the ring. You take a step, he adjusts. You hesitate. He quietly claims the space you gave up.
The guy's timing down, know what's coming next, man. He steps ahead of his competition, man. You know, whereas I see Shakur, man, on the other hand, he is the rhythm. You know, and what I mean by that is like, he like the wave, you know what I'm saying? He'll come forward and he'll push back. He'll come forward and he'll push back. He is the rhythm, you know. And I feel like, you know, him not being the most athletic fighter, his equalizer is control the distance. That's his equalizer.
Bradley's comparison hits because it's spot on. Shakur doesn't need to be the fastest or strongest in the room. He's constantly narrowing your options, methodically cutting down the space you have to operate, almost like closing tabs on a browser. Teofimo Lopez, by contrast, is pure chaos fueled by talent, a mix of creativity and athletic instinct. He adapts mid-fight as if he's improvising jazz, which is thrilling to watch. But against someone as disciplined and calculated as Shakur, that improvisation can quickly become guesswork. What's great about Bradley's take is that he doesn't diminish Teofimo at all. He gives him full credit for being inventive and dangerous, and then immediately pivots back to the importance of focus and structure, showing why Shakur's mental discipline might just control the fight.
Teo, more so, I would say, he's fast, you know, explosive, and got that punching power, you know, to hurt you, you know, he can sting you. Whereas Shakur is more so like, I would say quick thinker, very decisive fighter, you know what I mean? With his movements, decisive with, you know, all his moves, everything he does inside the ring, there's always like a purpose to it. You know, he's always in the right position. to avoid a shot or to land a punch as well.
Shakur doesn't perform for the crowd, he doesn't drift, and he doesn't get rattled. He stays completely locked in, like a student who already knows all the answers before the test begins. When Bradley says Shakur takes the air out of the fight, it isn't an insult, it's a warning. Because the moment frustration sets in, even elite athleticism can overcompensate, mistakes start to appear, and suddenly rounds slip away before you even notice. Bradley's analysis isn't flashy, it's meticulous, and that's what makes it persuasive. He's basically saying that if this fight becomes a battle of wits rather than a sprint, Shakur is in his element. And once you start watching the fight through that lens, it's nearly impossible to see it any other way.
Shakur, again, he ain't got the athleticism, he ain't got that explosiveness like Teofimo Lopez got, man. He ain't got that, But what the thing is that Shakur, he knows how to follow a plan, man. He does. And I think that's a major difference too in the fight. And he comes in there and he takes away, man, and he takes away whatever you got going on or whatever you think you're trying to do. Nope. He gonna take that away.
Right after Timothy Bradley Jr. broke the fight down like a man scanning danger with a flashlight, the conversation naturally stepped up when Coach Rob weighed in. Now it wasn't just opinions, it was anatomy, physics, and efficiency. Listening to him, you realize how often fans oversimplify things. People hear 5 pounds and shrug, but anyone who's ever cut weight knows that's the difference between feeling alive in a fight and gasping to survive. From Rob's perspective, Shakur Stevenson moving up isn't about chasing more power, it's about freeing his engine. Less strain, more snap, sharper legs in the late rounds. That's terrifying because Shakur already dominates with timing and intelligence. Give him extra strength without sacrificing control, and suddenly even his clean, precise strikes feel heavier, even if they aren't highlight reel bombs. What's great is that Rob doesn't take anything away from Teofimo Lopez. He acknowledges Teofimo as the freak athlete in the room, explosive, twitchy, and dangerous from unconventional angles. But then he points out the quiet truth: athleticism only counts if it lands. Against someone who controls distance as expertly as Shakur, wasted bursts of energy quickly become cardio drains.
And he definitely has the athleticism edge over Shakur. Now, I think Shakur's defense is high caliber, and his IQ is also high caliber. So it's a really good matchup because it's kind of like Teo brings, he can either, depending how he fights Shakur, he can either make it a tough night or he can make it an easy night.
This is where it gets really fascinating for fans, because Coach Rob frames the fight as a battle of efficiency versus ignition. Teofimo is fire, quick flashes, sudden bursts, moments that can swing around in an instant. Shakur, by contrast, is electricity, steady, controlled, always present, powering the fight without ever overheating. Rob makes a great point about Shakur's style. He's not flashy with wild combinations. He's surgical. 1, 2, step out, reset, repeat. That kind of precision ages beautifully over 12 rounds, especially when he's no longer draining himself unnecessarily. Meanwhile, Teofimo can make the fight either chaotic or methodical depending on his choices. He can force the action and disrupt Shakur's rhythm, or he can rush at the wrong moments and essentially hand Shakur a clinic. That's the tension in this matchup. One fighter thrives in calm, controlled conditions. The other thrives in discomfort and chaos. Rob's breakdown also reinforces what Bradley hinted at earlier. If this fight turns into a test of conditioning, timing, and decision-making in the later rounds, that extra strength and freshness might outweigh raw explosiveness. At that point, it's no longer just about athletic gifts. It's about who manages their body, energy, and strategy best when it really counts.
Same thing goes for Shakur. Shakur can try to stay on the ropes the whole time, or he can utilize his legs and box circles around Teo. We don't know. But definitely with the athleticism edge, I'm going to give it slightly over to Teo. But, not saying that Teo doesn't have a good IQ. I just think Shakur's IQ is very, I know people know that he's a smart fighter.
When you put all the pieces together, the picture becomes clear. This fight isn't just about volume or hype or raw power versus flash. It's a battle of control versus chaos. On one side, Shakur Stevenson operates like a precise processor, analyzing, adjusting, and letting frustration do the work for him. On the other, Teofimo Lopez brings unpredictability, athletic brilliance, and the ability to swing around in a single explosive moment if given the wrong opportunity. All the press conference noise, mental games, weight debates, and grueling training camps lead back to one question: who can stay disciplined when the plan starts to crack? If the fight becomes emotional, reckless, or rushed, the edge goes to Teofimo. If it stays measured, efficient, and calculated, it becomes Shakur's night. That's why coaches, fighters, and analysts keep repeating the same theme: patience versus pressure, efficiency versus ignition. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just who executes best when it really counts.
I think that when we talk about fighters throughout these eras, he's not really mentioned in these things because of the opposition who he has faced. But he does have some great IQ, and from a coach's standpoint, I get to see how he does certain things, why he does certain things. I'm like, that's smart, and he capitalizes. He got good range control, so it's going to be interesting for